This might offend some people. So an influencer should be someone who has influence to drive action. When you think about an influencer from a social media standpoint, the reason that word became powerful was because the algorithm started to switch from followers to interests. A person with a big following isn't necessarily an influencer anymore.
Yeah.
But nowadays, if you have 1,000 followers, you can be more influential than a person that has 10,000 followers.
Fact.
Like very easily.
Fact. If you're looking for a space that feels like yours becomes with way more perks, then Bamboo's dedicated desk is exactly what you need. Now, when you sign up for a dedicated desk, what you'll get is an ergonomic chair, so your back won't be hurting while you're getting your work done. You'll also get free coffee and tea daily in order to fuel your grind. And don't forget, you get mail services and printing services right at your fingertips. And also, you get your own personal storage with the lockbox for your security and peace of mind. And it doesn't stop there. Just by being a member of any of the Bamboo locations, you get access to discounts from local businesses. So if you're ready to join the Bamboo community and find a space that's yours, what I need you to do right now is to go ahead and email Malika at bamboocowork.com or give them a call at 313-766-0134 and tell them that the Black Fridays podcast sent you. And right now, while the desks are available, if you sign up for a 6-month commitment, you'll get 1 month free. Or if you sign up for a 12-month commitment, you'll get 2 whole months free. I look forward to seeing you at the Bamboo locations. With that being said, let's get into the episode. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, and then share with some friends, family, and loved ones. Now that we got that out of the way, we back outside. We back on location doing another interview, and we sitting inside of the social media store right now, which is a concept that's being developed out in Corktown in downtown Detroit. And I'm sitting here with the creator of the social media store, Mr. Robert Courtney Collins. How you doing, my brother?
It sounds so good to listen to you talk about being inside the social media store. Super dope. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So it's getting real. So we sitting in a space, and this thing is starting to build out. And remind me of how long you've had this concept and what exactly is a social media store.
So first of all, there's no social media store. Like, it doesn't exist. This is IP straight from our brain. The idea came from 11 years of observing the challenges and the different obstacles that small business owners face, the obstacles that now we watch creators face, their access to resources, and not just access to resources, but resources that are affordable to be able to accomplish and do some of the things that they need to do. I've witnessed that, and I've watched that for the last 11 years. So the concept came out of me not wanting to get to a level where I couldn't service those individuals anymore. And so this is an opportunity for everyone to be able to get what they need at a professional level at an affordable price, and not necessarily on our time. They can do it on their time. And the actual thoughts around the concept itself probably started maybe 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I didn't necessarily know what I would call it. I didn't necessarily know exactly how we would roll it out, but I knew the pain point that I wanted to definitely eliminate. And so the social media store, the name itself probably came to me about 1.5 years ago. And the reason for that is, when you think about a store, most of the time that's a retail scenario where you can walk in, you have a menu of items or different products that's available for you to purchase and leave with on the spot. And so I want to drive that type of mindset when people hear the social media store. It's like, if this is a store with a storefront, that means I can walk in and I can receive exactly what I need in that moment. Mm-hmm. So that's a part of the marketing and the branding component of it.
Yeah, and we started to have that conversation. I believe I don't know if it's been 2 years or 3 years. Time been flying, but
Yeah.
the last time you were on the podcast, or we talked about it, I can't remember if we talked about it towards the end or maybe offline, but you did mention that you all were looking to invest into a larger space so that you could be able to service your clients that you work with through Robert Courtney and Associates from a different level. And so now this
here.
is what the concept has been birthed
This is
into.
what it's evolved. And when I say evolved, like, the store has been pushed back probably 7-8 times based on a lot of different reasons. And a lot of times it's like that feels like a negative thing. It feels like, you're being challenged or you're being prevented from executing. And I had to sit back and think about all the things that I've been able to adjust and modify because of the delays. And I'm so happy that the delays happened, because I wouldn't have been able to get it so fine tuned. Like, the concept is dialed. Like, I'm very good at being ahead of my time. I'm very good at thinking of things that people will need, but they don't need yet.
Okay.
And so sometimes that's a good thing and that's a bad thing, because you come up with a concept too early, people don't understand it, they don't see the value.
Right.
And so you kind of your energy and enthusiasm for it either dies down, or someone thinks of a way to do the same thing but in a different way to communicate it to to the audience. So this particular time, and we can talk about some of the other ideas that I was too far ahead, but this particular time, I think I'm right on time with the concept. And when people walk, people still don't understand it. Don't get me wrong. Like, no one understands what the heck. Like, you ask the question, what is a social media store? Like, no one gets it. But when they start to see what they can do within these four walls, it's going to change the game. Like, it's going to literally take people who are aspiring to be incredible creators and aspiring to create incredible marketing. It's going to give them instant access to exactly what they want to do. Yeah. And now money and talent, people that have the skill set, that won't be an issue no more. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how people respond to it.
For sure. And you're no stranger to social media, obviously, because you have one of Michigan's premier social media companies, management companies, and then also a content creator yourself. So to the point that you just made, I'm interested to know, what do you think about creating your own market, so to speak? Because I feel like in the creator economy, quote unquote, that's what a lot of people do. Like, you kind of like curate your own market or marketplace for whatever thing it is or stuff that you do. So I want to know what your thoughts on that is.
So that's such a great question. You are a great example of that. Like, the podcast economy in Michigan didn't exist. It really still doesn't exist. Like, people are really still gravitating to this idea of how a podcast can be monetized, like how you can take advantage of creating an audience and a community around your conversation, just pulling up and talking to people. And so, because you've taken the bull by the horns and you've said, like, I'm going to establish myself as the premier Black business podcast in the city of Detroit, you've essentially waved a flag that said, like, this is the market share that you're about to own, and you're owning it. If no one takes anything from this video, I hope they understand what that looks like. And there's never been a time where we could do that as creators, as people who have great ideas with the ability to create your own market share and then drive dollars through that. And to the fact of it being sustainable, because that was another part. It's like, you could do it, but, like, can you live off of it? Like, can you generate enough revenue to actually take care of yourself? So I've always thought like that. Like, there has never been a time in my entrepreneurial existence where I didn't feel I could personally create a marketplace for the thing that I wanted to do. From being a barber to doing a clothing line, a fashion brand, to then creating a social media company. Do you know how many times I got laughed at behind the idea of you're going to manage company social media? Like, it was insane, like where I didn't, like again, one of these things where I'm ahead of my time and I'm talking to business owners and I'm asking them, can my company manage your social media? Like, you're going to manage my MySpace, you're going to manage my Twitter, you're going to manage my Facebook. Like, it was laughable. And
now look at where we at in society.
10 years later, like, I look at it and I'm just like, this is crazy. If you don't have someone, your business isn't really even a business if you don't have a company or a person managing your social. Like, you probably aren't getting the sales and the opportunities that you need if you haven't established that. But anyway, so the way I feel about it is, I think more creators need to stop waiting for opportunities, and they need to create their own opportunities, because we are in an environment now where we have everything we need. You have a phone, you have internet, right? You have a voice, you have an idea, you have a concept. You can create the audience and the community that you need that will sustain whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
And the social media store is being developed to help with just that.
You can come into the social media store on a random Tuesday with just the idea, and you can leave that day with everything that you need to execute your idea.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, Robert, you know how this go. I got to introduce you to reintroduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Friday.
Yes,
so.
Yes.
We didn't get no bars the last time, so I hope you done wrote a hot 16.
You know what? I don't even know if I know about Freestyle Friday. Sheesh.
But yeah, you already know how this goes, so we just gonna go with the rapid fire question. I feel like I got some good ones for you.
Okay, cool.
Number one, what's the last pair of Jordans you bought?
Last pair of Jordans I bought was these, which I don't know any Jordans name. So last pair of Jordans I bought were Jordan 1s.
Yep.
It's the only pair of Jordans I buy.
Yep.
So that's an easy answer, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
What color?
Black and
what
white.
colorway?
Black and white and gray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Say less. I think are those the Barons?
Now, I don't even know if the ones that come out with different colorways have actual names. They
Okay.
probably do.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Jordan head. I'm more of a
Collector.
enthusiast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is Jordan your favorite basketball player? I know you hoop.
Kobe Bryant's my favorite basketball
Come
player.
on, man. That's what I'm talking
but,
about.
But Michael Jordan paved the way for Kobe.
Yes,
so,
because
yeah.
Kobe is essentially Diet Jordan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So, speaking of basketball, I know you hoop in the you have played against sports, or not played against sports. I'm tripping.
Come play Detroit.
Come play Detroit.
Yes.
What's your stats looking like this season?
I'm averaging 18, 6, and 6 the last time I checked.
Okay.
Which it's been a hard 18. I'm not gonna even lie. Like, my body's been banged up. I'm averaging 7 free throws a game, which is a lot. If you know hoop, you know that means I'm going to the basket, and I'm not really a go to the basket type of guy.
Okay.
I'm a 3-point guy. But this team that I was chosen to be a captain this year, which typically don't happen, and so I was able to kind of craft a team based on what I feel would complement my strengths. And so this particular team requires me to be a ball handler and make plays. So I'm going to the hole, and then I'm yelling to get fouls.
Got you. All right. Hey, if you need a fringe rebounder, somebody that's gonna go out there and get you a bucket late in the quarters, I'm around.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna send you the link. I'm gonna send you the link.
For sure. What's one piece of advice that you can remember giving somebody in recent memory about social media or content?
I think the biggest advice I've given recently is patience. Like, I think creators. I'm using this word creators, but like, I'm burnt out on the word creators. It ain't going nowhere for a while, but creators are gonna be like influencers in like 6 months, like the term. But anyway, I think aspiring creators don't realize how long stuff take, and they miscalculate whether they're being effective or not, whether what they're doing can be successful, and they quit on it before they've done it for long enough. Like, you have to, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing or what industry you're in. You have to allow for experience to shape the idea or the product or the service. You have to allow for that feedback to come. You need massive amount of reps so that you can really understand how to talk to people, how to communicate what the idea is. The best way to create content around the idea. So I think having patience around whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish is probably the best advice that I've given recently.
I think that's dope because I think about in the context of still talking about basketball, whoever they deem the guy, he's not winning 9 times out of 10, not winning the championship in his first year, like unless he's like some type of role player or something. But it usually takes them like 7 to 9-ish, like for the guys to win those rings and get those championships. And you got to go through your journey.
You got to build fortitude. You got to build resistance. You have to. I think you have to build up you have to build up a resilience for getting over the hurdles, because it's more mental than anything, especially when you talk about like from a basketball analogy standpoint. A lot of people they believe in their skill set so much, or they believe in like their talent, and like your talent is only probably like 30-40%. And that goes for business, and that goes for like the hoop analogy. Your talent is only gonna get you so far. You gotta learn how to communicate with people. You gotta build rapport. And we know in Detroit, like, not to go off on a tangent, but like Detroit has zero to do with talent, and it has zero to do with time. A lot of times, it has way more to do with who you know and the relationships that you develop.
Absolutely,
which is a great thing, but it's also one of the things that drives me insane. It's like. Once upon a time, like, I wouldn't even have this conversation because I'm worried about like offending people, and I'm worried about rubbing people the wrong way. Like, I can care less about that nowadays. But if you don't attach yourself to the right organizations, the right circles, the right people, you're going to struggle in this market. Like, it's just the reality of where we are. And that's one of the big things that I hope to change when it comes to the social media store, because I want to establish the store as the ultimate resource, obviously, but also I'm trying to build a community so much bigger than the city, so much bigger. Like, I want a community that powers you across the world for the market that needs what it is that you bring to the table. You know, and that's something that I was always very close. I don't want to say I was closed-minded about, but like, my success and my brain was too attached to my peers and the people that was doing it in this market. And a lot of times, like, if they're not giving you the approval, or you're not feeling like you're making an impression on the people that's within close proximity, a lot of times you don't see yourself as who you actually are. And it doesn't mean that you're not doing it on a high level. It just means that the people next to you aren't your people. Like, that's not the customer. That's not the audience that you are providing value for. And so I hope that the social media store can play a role in that, and everything that we're doing, from CreatorCon to the social media store. But I just want to be a pivotal option for the Detroit business owner or creator who needs a pathway because he is struggling to find a community that understands what they're trying to accomplish.
Love that. And last but not least, for Freestyle Fridays, what's the difference between a creator and a creative?
Great question.
Or is there a difference?
I think, in my opinion, and this is still being defined, CreatorCon was built out of my perspective of what a creator is in 2025. Back then it was 2022, but again, like, I'm seeing down the road, and that term creator has changed based on Meta as in Facebook, Instagram. Meta changed what a creator means, because in order to generate revenue from a technology standpoint, you have to be able to put information or content online. From Meta standpoint, if you are putting something online, you are a creator, right? You're a digital creator. Everyone puts something online. You might not draw, you might not do music, you might not. But if you create a post and say, have a great day, you just became a creator from like a technology standpoint. So I think it's something that will continue to be defined. I think a creative has to be a creator, but a creator might not be a creative, is the way that I like to look at it. I do think it's important. I think it's important to understand. I think it's important for people like us to continue to have dialogue around that, especially as people come behind us and they're trying to find their way. But regardless of what industry you're in, regardless of what you do to generate revenue for yourself, you have to be a creator. Like, you have to use the platforms in order to bring attention to yourself or generate revenue for yourself. And the more skilled you become at being a creator from a technology standpoint, I think the more successful you're going to be in terms of building a business.
And so a creative is a deeper level. That's somebody who's in the practice of creating whatever their medium is.
Yes, I think a creative is a person who has traditional talents around certain skills as it applies to art, as it applies to videography, as it applies to music. I think those are natural God-given gifts and skills that person can then use to be a creator when it comes to different platforms and leveraging technology. But there's gonna, the word creator is a kind of a new buzzword, and so there's going to be confusion around that for probably another couple years. But like I told you, that word creator is going to burn out, and creative, that's been around for since the beginning of time. So.
For sure. Well, thank you for partaking again in Freestyle Fridays.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. So I would love to know, in the time since our last interview, what are some of those things business lessons that you have learned, whether it's with the social media store, with Robert Courtney and Associates, or CreatorCon, that you have learned some of those big lessons that you've learned in that time since we last spoke?
My biggest lesson is probably to stop dumbing my ideas down, or to stop, and I'm not afraid to admit this, I'm just I'm naturally a humble guy. And so when I come up with ideas and concepts that could be billion-dollar ideas or could be multi-million-dollar ideas, I don't naturally want to think about it like that. And that's not good or bad. That's just me being self-aware to who I am as a person. And then I had to cross the bridge of, if you're trying to build $100 million business, you got to change your thought process. You can't be a humble guy in terms of dumbing yourself down or your idea down if you're trying to build $100 million business. It's just not possible. So the lesson that I'm learning is it's okay to aspire to do 100 million, to do a billion. And to say that out loud, it's literally changes the energy of a room. You change the energy of how people react to you or respond to you. And so that's one major thing that I think I've done personally, is where the social media store concept is $1 billion idea. That's how I truly feel inside. And I had to become okay with, are you willing and prepared to go at it it's a $1 billion idea? Which is something I've never thought. That's not a way I've ever thought before. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is just in terms of how I approach the things that I do. I think we're very creatives, not creators, creatives, and I consider myself 50-50. I'm 50% creative, 50% businessman. I think creatives tend to divide their attention amongst a lot of different things, because there's just always something new or unique or different that you can potentially generate revenue from, or things that you can bring to the table. And what I had to realize is, again, if you're going to build something big, something that's worth that type of money, it's going to require more focus. No serious business owner that I know sounds indecisive or split about the things that they're trying to do. It is a very intentional voice around the projects or the ideas that they're trying to bring to fruition. And so I'm very bullish now on accomplishing 3 things: the social media store as the biggest agency in Michigan, bar none. I'm sorry, Robert Courtney and Associates as the biggest social media management agency in Michigan, bar none. The social media store being around the country servicing people who need help building their brand from scratch. and CreatorCon being Midwest, the conference in the Midwest that attracts the rest of the world to come and learn about new creators. And we added the Creator Awards this year, which is going to be, to me, my flag in the ground in regards to defining what you asked, like what is a creator, and eliminating some of the gray area around that. And I think the Creator Awards will bring attention to people who a creative might look at and say, like, how? Like, this person doesn't do this or they don't do that. Well, that's because your interpretation or perception or understanding of what that word means is just different. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, I remember back in a quick story, back in like 2000, maybe like 99, a book came out that basically ranked players in high school on like how good they are. So you for the first time, you had like a person saying, this person is number 1 in the state of Michigan, this person is number 2 in the state of Michigan. I can't think of the name of the book, but people watching this, if you follow high school sports, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. Well, nowadays, there's all types of platforms that rank high school kids, right? And some get a lot of credit, notoriety. Others are like, they don't follow it. But this guy was so determined to build a brand around ranking players, and it actually worked. And eventually, it got to a point to where people would say, oh, yeah, he ranked number 9 in the country. He ranked number 3 in the country. And it was all based on this guy who watched games, and he built the team. He would go and they would watch games. They would get together and they would just collectively say, this guy is better than this guy. And it was based on their opinion. And I think that was necessary because now, like, you wouldn't have what you have now in terms of how many things get ranked if he didn't start that process. So this is me, like, starting based on a very strategic collective of factors to say this person is doing the work and deserves to be recognized for that work. And that's what the Creator Awards, and it'll hopefully create the conversation and expand people's minds to what being a creator could be.
So talk to us a little bit about CreatorCon and what's in store for 2025, and give us the base for the people who may not have interacted or come across CreatorCon just yet of what it is, and then, of course, tell us what we can expect this year.
Yeah, for sure. So CreatorCon is a conference that we started 4 years ago, 2022, so 3 years ago, but this will be the 4th one. The idea came from our social media agency working in so many different industries and realizing that all these people are essentially trying to do the same thing, which is establish awareness, build a brand, learn how to use social media. And so in my mind, it was like this was a great opportunity to put people, all these different individuals in the same room and allow them to realize, like, you can pull ideas from hospitality if you're in real estate. You can pull ideas from music if you're in fashion. And so we did the first one. It was really like my network of resources and friends here in Detroit who I felt had a impact and influence on their particular expertise or field, coming together to speak on panels and do keynotes and presentations and things like that. So that was like testing ground to see how people would respond. It was a great learning experience, and when the feedback was basically like, again, nobody understood the concept. And so the second year I had to get more intentional around what are the pillars of CreatorCon. So the second year we took our feedback and we changed the pillars to technology, real estate, fashion, hospitality, and music. So those are kind of the pillars. We built out a system that allowed people to nominate individuals in those areas that could speak to those different industries. And so that eliminated like the feedback of just being biased or like picking like my circle of people, which I admitted to. It's like, I have to get this event off the ground. This is a starting point. The third year, it really crystallized. And so the third year, we went from all of those different pillars to now hospitality, real estate, technology, and fashion. Like those are the 4 pillars with a lot of different legs that extend from those areas like entrepreneurship, small business, marketing, that type of thing. But we added the podcast playground, which is an interactive way for people to network, have conversation. You get to talk to people that you would have maybe never got to talk to in that particular setting. And people are coming there understanding that people like yourself are building podcasts, and they are open to you bringing them in to sit down and talk to you about what it is that they have going on. So we introduced the podcast playground. We also introduced a full day of workshops. So last year we did 12 workshops over the course of our 2-day conference, and the workshops was probably the biggest surprise, like how packed they were. In addition to the programming or what have you, we always try to bring in like a bigger guest from that's not necessarily from Michigan. So last year we had Dame Dash, which was an amazing conversation. And this year we got some surprises. Okay. So we won't announce those yet, but just know we got some people. We'll probably have 2 to 3 people this year. So that'll be a little bit different. And then
Castanet.
Say it again.
Castanet.
One day. Not yet. One day. But yeah, and then like I said, we're introducing the Creator Awards, which will be a big component of CreatorCon.
Yeah, for sure. And I got a chance to go in 23, and I felt like the pieces that you added were the only things that were missing for me, because I just think that when you get creatives in a room, creators, or all the above, you got to give us the opportunity to create or be able to develop something and encourage or create that playground and content. So that I think it's dope to be able to have the podcast playground, and then also the workshop aspect too, because people, some people are a little bit more advanced than others. So it's like they're looking for those nuggets of like, well, what can I take and apply directly versus being able to have like more of the broader conversations and activations and things that go on.
100%. I mean, and to be honest with you, I think this year a big focus is just helping creators turn their creativity into actual businesses. Because it's one thing to create content,
right? And
90% of them do that like at a high level.
Yeah.
But like, how are you monetizing it? How are you systemizing it? How are you like? What is your actual plan around the content that you're creating? And I think there's a lack when it comes to understanding how to build business around whatever your creative skills are.
Yeah, and I think the top ones or the best ones that you can think about, they eventually have to build a business around whatever their creative medium is and being able to turn that passion into a career. But that's not the route for everybody. So do you have any thoughts on people who create or do good at it, but it's like, I don't know if I want to make money from it?
Yeah, I heard someone say this not too long ago, and they were talking about like passion. And a lot of times a individual that use social will go viral or blow up off of something that they're passionate about, and they never even intended for it to be a business or even thought about like what business would look like if they're trying to generate revenue from that thing. And you have to be careful, because if you turn passion into a business, sometimes it stops becoming your passion. Like it'll kind of kill the joy or kill the drive that you have for it. So I think it's definitely something that a person who follows that path should have a deep kind of internal conversation with themselves to make sure like this is what they want to do. The other thing is, if it is a passion, like you should follow it, but you don't necessarily have to focus on it. So following it would be like you're going to do things that you enjoy and things that are based around your passion. But if you're hyper focused on the passion, then sometimes it's not a revenue generating skill or a revenue generating hobby. So it's like a lot of times people will say turn your passion into profit or turn your passion into revenue for yourself. but sometimes that's a dead end. Like, like it's sometimes it's a tough pill to swallow. And so you have to just be careful with listening to people on the internet, and how they approach that. And that's lately been something that I've just tried to be really honest about. Like you can use the internet in a lot of ways to generate revenue for yourself, but you have to understand the internet, and you have to understand, like, you have to at least put some energy into understanding business, because the stuff that makes businesses work isn't fun all the time. Like our team sent out invoices today, and they had to go over stuff. And like, I don't want to sit there and go over invoices. Like, I really don't. But like, if I don't, we don't get paid.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's parts of running a business that aren't fun. But if you're deciding that you want to be entrepreneur, if you're deciding that you want to use your passion to generate revenue for you, these are things that come with that. And so if you're not prepared to take all of that on, then maybe it's not the right move for you.
For sure. Yeah. And can you talk about your creator journey and what that looks like? Because I know through your platforms, you are showing things behind the scenes. You get on there, you teach, you get on there, you share personal things. How would you kind of describe your creator journey to this point and your approach to the content that you put out?
My creator journey is the journey that I'm trying to infuse into anyone who is multifaceted. Like, if the internet scares you, which I speak in workshops all the time, I do presentations all the time, and the number one thing I get is people don't know what they should put out. Like, they don't know what they should post. And so my response to that is post anything and everything. Like, document what you're doing. Like, document the things that give you joy. Or
I gotta stop you there. You can't post the struggle plates. We got to move past the struggle plates.
No,
so please don't.
The struggle plate is the most important piece. That's the most important content that nobody wants to share, right?
Because when you come up, it's something to look back on.
And like, I think there was a time when that was the conversation. Like, I want to post it so that I can watch my journey and see where I came from. Yeah. But now I feel like in this era that we're in, the most relatable content is the content of the struggle. Like, the most relatable content is us realizing that you're not perfect and that you go through the same challenges I go through. And the creators that do that with unapologetically, I feel like those creators are typically the ones they're performing the best. That content is performing the best.
Right.
Yeah. So you got to remember, I'm an agency owner. So a lot of what I do is really in a test mode. Like, we're testing content. We're testing how people respond kind of in a micro, under a microscope, so that we can see if it works here, then what if we do it with a bigger person that has a bigger following or a bigger reach or a bigger brand, to see if we can get some of those same spikes in activity.
So you get a chance to use yourself as like a testing ground for how you might run a campaign for a client, stuff like that.
Client, influencer, creator. Because, I mean, everything now is so attached to trends. Everything now is so, like, it's in the details that things perform. So, like, the first 3 seconds, the first line, the thumbnail, is it an attention-grabbing first clip? Like, the key words that you use in the caption, like, all of these things matter. And a person might create a piece of content that's amazing, but because the title wasn't great, because the first frame wasn't on the right frame, it doesn't get the reach that it probably could have received. And so from an agency standpoint, those are like the very tactical things that we're looking at. Usually from like a creator or a person who's just posting on social, who's not really worried about the reach or the performance, you're not worried about that. Like, you're just trying to document a moment and you're trying to put it out there, you know? So I'm constantly walking the line between someone who just wants to share and someone who's testing content to see if it performs or gets the reach that it wants. My main conversation with the workshops and the people I coach and the things that I do is that you need to pretend you're at a gym, and you need to take a shirt or a towel and put it over the bike, so you can't see any numbers, you can't see any time. You need to not look at the numbers, Because if you're using the numbers as a way to measure your success, you're going to quit. Like, you're going to be disappointed, because reach and analytics in 2025 is not aligned with whether you're being impactful or not. Like, those two things do not necessarily connect with each other. A person could be following your entire journey, could be reading every post, could be absorbing every piece of content you put out, and you never know. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's the collective of everything that you're doing that really moves the needle nowadays. And so I think you have to have a holistic approach to using social. And so, if you work with RCA, we're going to audit everything and not just your social media pages.
I heard Gary Vee say that we're moving away from social media and moving into interest media. Yeah. Do you think that is the case?
I mean, I do, but I hate that he's putting that out there, because I'm opening up the social media store, Gary. Like, stop. Please stop. No, I mean, it's been that way for a while. Like, I mean, TikTok changed the game. So it's better for us. Like, it's better that we're able to, we have algorithms now that pay attention to our habits, our actions, the things we're actually interested in versus who we're connected to. Like, if you really think about this in real life, what I described as far as like me hating what happens in Detroit, because it's about who you're connected to, the people you're connected to, when it really should be about your gift, your skill, your interest. Like, that should drive your opportunity.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it from that standpoint, with the internet kind of making that shift, it gives every single individual, it eliminates your starting point. Like, it eliminates like how much skin you have in the game. Now, if success, virality comes too fast, it could backfire on you. Right. But with that being said, it's like you're playing a lottery like every day, and you have a really good chance at hitting it, when you go and you play that number. So
yeah.
And one thing I forgot to ask you earlier, we talked about creator versus creative, and then a term that we've been using is influencer. And so could you break down what, in your opinion, is an influencer?
This might offend some people. So an influencer should be someone who has influence to drive action. So the action could be going to an event. The action could be coming into a store to make a purchase. The action could be growing a community, bringing awareness to a website. So when you think about an influencer from a social media standpoint, the reason that word became powerful was because the algorithm started to switch from followers to interests. So now that it's based on interest, that means that the community that you already have, you need to be able to influence them and drive them to a product that makes that product sell or makes that particular service, creates more awareness for that particular service, whatever that brand's thing is. Is dying fast because of two reasons. One, most people are buying followers. Like, most people, engagement with their audience isn't a high percentage. Like, people aren't really responding. And it's a lot of times that's because they're finding you on the internet. So it's like, if you come across somebody's page and you like the content, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be moved to do the things that they do. It just means that you like watching their feed, you know? So a person with a big following isn't necessarily an influencer anymore. And that's not the metrics that was used in the past to decide whether a person qualifies as an influencer. Even like the terms like micro influencer, macro influencer, those all came from the amount of people that was attached to you. But nowadays, if you have 1,000 followers, you can be more influential than a person that has 10,000 followers.
Facts.
Like, very easily.
Facts.
So it's up to the agencies you work with and the strategists who understand what I just explained to really measure if someone is an influencer. And just because you're an influencer in one space doesn't mean that you're necessarily an influencer in another space. You might be really good at getting people excited about food, but if I ask you to post about clothes or music, like, it might be crickets. So it's about aligning interests and really understanding the individuals who have an engaged audience, so much so that people will follow what they ask them to do, so that they can help make that brand successful.
So you got to move people. If you're going to be an influencer and take that route, you got to be able to move people to action, whether it's engagement, purchasing something. You got to be able to move people to action.
Yep. And might I add, I think a better question might be, how do you become influential? Like, how do you become an influencer?
Yeah.
And
because back in the day, influencers were celebrity. Like, you had to be a celebrity to be an influencer. Those are the people they were paying for ads and commercials, and like you had to be of that status to be an influencer. But now you can be someone who is dedicated to creating certain types of content and become an influencer. You don't need that stamp anymore.
You don't. And I mean, the influencers that you're describing pre-social media, the only way you can get thousands and thousands of eyes on you were going to the movies, right? Or watching somebody on the big screen.
Yep.
So it makes sense. And then those people slowly trickled into social media, and they still were kind of at the top of the food chain. But we know that creators and people who use social media well have far surpassed a lot of actors. And most of the time, the actors nowadays, they shift to social media influence because you can make more money. Like, you can generate way more revenue for yourself if you are consistent on social. You use the different mechanisms to generate revenue for yourself on social than you probably can if you get booked for a movie or two throughout the course of the year. But with that being said, I just think a person who wants to become a person who gets booked for brand deals and gets opportunities to make money by using their influence, you have to develop an engaged community. It all starts with community. And it doesn't mean thousands of people. It starts with 10 people. It starts with 100 people. And it starts with 500 people. And you grow your community that you're overly providing value for those individuals. And that, to me, is how that process starts. And you can't be so quick to charge the community. Like, I think that's, like, people jump to putting a price tag on their influence so fast, and you lose the few people that you have. Again, that term patience come into play. Like, right, like, be patient with developing a true value for the community that you're trying to build, and do that for as long as you possibly can. Like, people don't realize, like with me, like, I'm not a huge influencer, but I spent 11 years building an agency. I spent 5 years doing free work. I spent 8 years doing branding for beginners for free. And I was doing it at legitimate venues for free, for people to just come and realize, like, I have value to bring to the table. And if you want to come, you can come. I'm not going to charge you. But here's the value that I can bring to you that's going to help your business. And so if people will just take a step back and be okay with providing value, you can spend 3-4 hours a day doing something to make money, and you can spend another 3-4 hours a day doing things that won't necessarily make you money, right? And it's not gonna break the bank if you give a couple hours of value, and then people no longer. Gary Vee has a book that he wrote years ago called Jab, Jab, Left Hook.
Yep.
You probably heard of it.
Yep.
Like, that was the whole premise of it. Like, give, and then after you've given so much, you can ask for a little. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, because you've given so much, people just start giving it back to you. Like, they don't even wait for you to ask for it. They want to pay you because they're, like, so overwhelmed by your generosity that they want to compensate you in some way for that. So
yeah. And do you have a get the bag piece of advice for people who are looking to get into this creator economy, or possibly from a social media standpoint that has been tried and true or proven from the work that you've done, your experiences? Do you have, like, a tip for people on how they can get to the money? Because I think we both know there's a lot of creators, like you mentioned, you got more impact with 1,000 followers than somebody with 10,000 followers. But for that person who got 10,000 followers ain't making no money, how can they turn the dial and actually get a couple of dollars?
Well, I think, first of all, you got to just look at your system. Like, your system is the most important thing when you have an established community. So what does your process from awareness, we're thinking about it from a sales funnel standpoint.
Yep.
Top of the funnel awareness to actual conversion. Like, what does that pipeline, what does that flow look like? And so if you have an audience and you have a community that's already established, now you have to realize, like, what is the message or the call to action that I'm driving for that particular community? And then when I start to put that type of content out, what happens next? Like, what is the link that they're clicking? Like, how are they finding out more? And then once you get the system figured out, now you have to over deliver in the thing or in the value that you actually have to provide. But besides the system, there's so many ways. Like, when it comes to getting paid off of your community, there's so many platforms that's already established. There's e-courses, there's Twitch, there's YouTube. Like, there's so many ways to leverage communities now. It's just really a matter of, like, do you really want to sit down and understand all the nuances that are in all of these platforms? But from TikTok to Snapchat to Twitch, there's money that can be made just in the platform itself if you have an established community.
Yeah, one of the shocking things that I found out recently, people still making money off Snapchat. Like, it's a very targeted community now, but people are making money off Snapchat.
A lot, like hundreds of thousands. Yeah. If you got the community, like,
right.
The people, the community is the driver when it comes to revenue on the internet. And if you have a community, you can understand what the relatable things are. Like, why is this community attracted to you? Like, what makes them want to be a part of your community? If you can extract that, and there's a lot of ways to do that. Like, you can send out things that you can find out the information. The problem is, a lot of times these creators, the community only exists within their platform.
Yeah.
You know, like when TikTok was about to go away, and I think it still might be going away.
People was
struggling.
Exactly.
They were having panic attacks and stressing out bad. You have to extract that community. Like, you don't really have a true community unless you can contact those people through an email or a text or a phone call.
Yes.
That's a true community. The other stuff is followers, friends, connections, but it's not really a community.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
So, Rob, what's next? What's coming up? What's next for you? What's next for social media store, CreatorCon? Make sure you tell us the dates and how people can tap in with that. But yeah, when the social media store is open? So, tell us all the good things that's on the horizon.
Well, the first thing I want to do is kill this fly.
Yeah.
That's immediately next following this podcast. But beyond that, the social media store will be opening soon. I don't have an exact date yet, but you will know. If you follow me, you will know. CreatorCon is November 15th. It's one day, and we have a surprise announcement around where it'll be this year, the first time that we're doing it at this venue. So keep your eyes open for that big announcement. And what's next for Rob? Rob is on a mission to do the three things that we talked about earlier. The social media store is probably at the top of the list. I want to open up social media stores around the country. And I want to change the way people think about building brands. I want to provide actual practical information and strategy, so that it's not, people look at what we do and they think it's easy. Like, they look at it and they think it's like a secret pill that you take, and then all of a sudden, like, you have it. And I want to be honest with people about what it takes, but then I want to provide the resources and the framework to help get them there. If social media or resources is the thing that's preventing them from getting where they're trying to go. And then I want to build relationships with really big players, like the Chase Banks of the world, who can actually take them from A to Z. And so I want to be a resource for building brands. And then I'm going to fade to black, bro. Like, I'm going to be here and then I'm going to be gone, and I'm not going to pick up my phone to post anymore. Like, that's really like what I have set. Like, it's probably 5 to 10 years of grind left. And then, like, I don't really care to do any more work. Like, I just want to be done completely.
Hey, I ain't mad at that at all.
yeah, for sure.
So where can the people tap in with you? What's your socials, website, all that stuff?
Robert Courtney Collins across every platform. You can text me, 313-529-5333. I'm so easy to find. I'm always looking to help people with any opportunities that I can provide for them. If you are a creator or a creative and you're looking for opportunities, especially if you know social media, but please tap in with me. We're going to be trying to bring in as many experts and people in the space as possible to utilize the social media store from a partnership standpoint, but also from an ambassador standpoint to get the word out and let people know. I need everybody in Michigan, from Grand Rapids and Lansing all the way here to Detroit
UP too.
and the UP, like everybody to come and tap in with the social media store, because I need this to be the hub for creators, whether you're aspiring or if you're established. Like, we need both components to really make this successful. We're trying to build a community at the end of the day, and I want this to be a community that really moves the needle. If you want the most up-to-date information when it comes to being a creator or establishing yourself across any platform, I want you to be able to come to the social media store and get the help that you need.
For sure. And we look forward to the social media store opening up, and we'll do round 3 of interviews.
I'm an official alumni.
Yeah. Once everything is up and running. So we appreciate you for hosting us in the space as we get this behind the scenes look at how it's growing, and then it's going to be really dope to be able to come back, do it again, and then to see it in the finished space.
We'll be on the stage with the LED screen and
Yep.
the nice yellow couches.
For sure. For sure. Everybody watching, listening, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.